Hey, it's Sam. Welcome back to another video. And for today's video, I am going to have an MCU movie tier ranking coming out soon. I just need YouTube to verify about it. But today we are going to do a review of The Lab Rat Show. We're going to do a review from seasons 1 through 4 because those are all the seasons. So let's just get started. So there's apparently 3 bionic humans living in a guy's basement named Mr. Davenport. And their names are Adam, Bree, and Chase. Adam is like the really dumb one, but he's really strong. Bree is like in the middle of intelligence, but she's really speedy. Chase has super smarts. So that's about what I can say about all of them. So then Leo tries to get Mr. and Davenport and Tasha. Tasha is Leo's mom. Mr. Davenport is Leo's stepdad. And he becomes friends with these bionic humans, and he takes them to school and all sorts of stuff. He also tries to get to be Mission, and he'll be on a mission later in the series. But not much happened in season 1. All that I can really say about it, at the end of the season, we get a plot line with this guy named Marcus, who Leo already has beef with. He already has beef with Marcus, and he didn't have good plots with Marcus. That's really all I can say. Bree's trying to fit in with school, and she's very boy crazy. Chase can't. They always make fun of Chase. That's kind of what Adam does. Is make fun of Chase the entire time. But, Marcus is very weird. Like, he's a bad guy. You can just tell by the look of him that he's a bad guy. And I'll explain more about that in season 2. Whenever I get to season 2 to pop up. But it's like, season 1 goes by a little slower than season 2 does, I will say. Principal Perry, who's a principal, who's like the worst principal out of them all, does a lot of stuff. So now we get into season 2. So season 2, we just go by Marcus plotline. So the first half of season 2 is all about the Marcus character. We find out in this season 2 that this guy named Douglas is Adam, Bree, and Chase's real father, and Mr. Davenport never made Adam, Bree, and Chase. They end up taking Marcus and Douglas down, but Douglas gets trapped in an ice cube, but later saved in the series. We get to meet Bree's boyfriend, Owen, who also has some stuff to do in this season. Principal Perry has a lot of episodes. We get to see more of her in this season. She's had a lot of improvement to be done on this season. Tasha becomes more of a person, I guess. And this was I did like the season better, but not much happened. And then we get into season 3. Season 3 of the show definitely had the most stuff in it. So where we left off, the lab blew up in the last season, and then at the beginning of the season, Adam, Bree, and Chase are left on a boat, and then later in that episode, it's a 2-parter episode, they get trapped at Douglas's house, and they meet Crane, who's the bad guy in this season. So that's basically it. They're all poor because the lab blew up. So then Davenport tries to raise money to buy a new lab. So Adam, Bree, and Chase don't glitch, and that's what he does in an episode. He gets, because he does this stunt in an episode to get the money, and they end up buying a new lab in an episode. We also seem to indicate that Owen is no longer in the show. It seems to indicate in this season that Owen went to a different school, or he just broke up with Bree and they don't like talking at all. Janelle was in the last season. I forgot to mention about her. We also got to meet their grandmother in the first season, but she didn't really have much to do. Leo has superpowers, and we also get to meet S1, who works for Crane, and Crane also dies later in the season. Yeah, so And then at the end of the season, Mr. Davenport starts a Bionic Academy. So we get to see a few episodes of that. We get to meet later in the season. We get to meet these two kids named Spin and Bob, and we also get to meet this guy named Sebastian, who has some stuff to do in the next season. And that's about it. So then in this season had probably the most action-packed cold open out of them all. Well, no, not a cold open, sorry. It had probably the best season opener so far. So Sebastian is betraying them, and he is bringing two other people from Bree's group and Adam's group. Those two people were only in this episode. I wish they were in other episodes so we can explore them a little more. They're trying to get everyone to side with them, and because they think that Crane was a good person, and Crane's dead. So they're all gone. But Sebastian fails at this plot point. There's so many villains in this season. S1 comes back, but as a good guy this time, and she gets blinded in one episode, so that's something. Also, one of Douglas's ex-girlfriends comes in this season, and also Principal Perry becomes a night guard at the Bionic Academy, which was weird. This season also had a crossover with Mighty Med, which is another show that only came with 2 seasons. I wish it had a little more just to figure out what they wanted to do with it. And then there was, at the end of the season, there's an episode where all of them are trying to get upgrades for their bionics. But of course, it doesn't work. Giselle, I think that's her name, who is of course Douglas's ex-girlfriend, who is also a villain, tries to vanish all of them so she can kill all of them, but of course it doesn't work out, and yeah. And also, we get to meet another add-on to the family, Daniel, who is Douglas's son, and we didn't know about him until this season, so that's something about. Crane also comes back, but of course he dies again in this season. So there's just so many things in this season that kept you going, But I will say this was probably my favorite. Season 3 was probably my favorite season of the entire show. It was not a long show, of course. It was only a 4-season show. But there are long shows that I like that 160 show, I Love Lucy. Anyways, that's going to be it for this video, so please go check out my other videos and enjoy this amazing music. Bye, guys.